do I have a fan fiction for you? Because for the longest time in my mind, I had a story for a possible, and I know it will never happen because it's in my head, My Hero Academia story arc that can last half a season, or like pretty much 13 episodes. And I'm here to say it all. Not all on this part, because I only say halfway because it's a lot. But I hope to explain myself as much as I can because I truly believe this could be decent, even though I know it will never happen. Because I know the manga is already out there, and I haven't read the manga, so it's just me just guessing on the info we have now. Anyway, here we go. The first episode, which is mostly half slice of life, half setup, starts with all the students of class 1A in the dorms, where like they're just in a break of sorts, but Mr. Aizawa is there taking care of them because they know they can get a bit rowdy because Bakugo set aflame, so Aizawa is forced to check on them. But Deku and Ochako decide to go not on a date because I'm not gonna go there, but rather just a hangout by themselves. Like Tenya comes along. Well, he almost comes along, but he thinks it's a date, so he decides to just stay behind, and then decides for him to go home. The rest of the students, most of the students are in the dorms except Mina, who's planning to go out of town to do some hero work, not like outside of Japan, but just like a couple cities away. And the girls of the class are preparing to say goodbye to her. That they could wish her luck on her hero training. But yeah, it's just set up, mostly slice of life. It's just casual. Not everyone probably a fan because they wish to see some more story, but this is sort of set up. And then by the end of the first episode, there's a cliffhanger where this mysterious villain comes in, and then we don't know who it is until the second episode. But he decides to announce to the world, and I know you might think, why would he announce it to the world? He's just giving his plan away. That is part of his plan because he purposely wants to cause a panic. You'll see why. So he caused everyone to panic, saying that he'll steal everyone in the world who has a quirk and will steal their souls and put them in these orbs and send them to this other reality or pocket reality. But then there's this scientist who works for the government who tells everyone with a quirk that he made this special pink badge looking thing that people with quirks are supposed to wear, and then it'll shield them and protect them for whenever he decides to suck everyone's souls. So it causes the whole it causes everyone to go in a panic. So everyone with a quirk starts fighting. Villains start freaking trashing cities, because they decide to give them away for free, but someone's just stealing it rather than let them be for like the innocent quirk users. So it causes chaos. Heroes come in to defend the cities, the peace, and everything. And meanwhile, while Deku and Ochako are on their hangout, this whole issue interrupts them, so they start going and fighting villains, protecting the innocent. Same with Mina back with her in her city. The second episode is when like things start going. The halfway point is where like the chaos starts, and by the end it just continues from where it is. It doesn't stop. Then to the third episode, the narrative from the last just continues with all the chaos, heroes and trying to like save the innocent, whatnot. But the surprise at the very end of the episode, turns out this scientist who created these devices is actually a shapeshifter who's working for the villain, and those shields are actually tracking devices of sorts, where like he plans to suck everyone with a quirk who has it, to suck their souls at once. So it's a trick. And also what I didn't mention earlier, Tenya is one of the few suspicious quirk users on like why this happens. All of a sudden he begins to question everything. His family gets they even get one for him, but Tenya doesn't even follow the orders from his parents because he feels suspicious. So he literally does not use it at all because of suspicion. Meanwhile, back in the dorms where all the Aizawa is still with the remaining students, where they all wear some, but then Bakugo, being the trashy jackass he is, destroys his own badge because he thinks he can deal with it, like he can handle it, or like he wants to face the villain himself, even though he has no chance of knowing where he even is. While Todoroki tries to talk some sense into him to get another one, where he won't listen. So it just like causes him to lose it at him by yelling at him. But then they start arguing. But then when the quote unquote time limit happens, he begins to suck everyone's souls, well, with a quirk, souls, including the heroes, including even All Might, and even Deku's mom. But we'll show that later. Deku and Midoriya, since they're so busy fighting heroes, they didn't even get a chance to get some of their own, so they're willing to die together. But then when they realize nothing happened to them is when when they see innocent people losing their lives, is when they begin to panic and just stand there in shock because they don't know what's going on. They said Deku and Ochako stand there in shock because they're all confused at why they're not losing their souls, but then the people who supposedly have devices are. So once Deku sort of has an idea of what might happen, he runs towards his mom to see if she might be okay. He says, obviously she has a quirk, a small quirk, but it's still a quirk. Meanwhile, back to Mina. She had a badge, and yeah, she had a badge, and she was fighting villains there too. But then a whole group of them surround her and they beat the crap out of her. They knock her out. They steal her device and they dump her into a massive trash bin. Like the ones outside buildings. Yeah, they just throw her in and knock unconscious. Tenya sees his own family disappear, which makes it even more insecure. Well, just as insecure as when he almost lost his brother. And then ends up in a state of trauma, which will be covered later. And then to the dorms. Right when Todoroki had enough of Bakugo not listening to him, he just straight up gives away his badge to him. But then seeing him disappear in front of his eyes also puts him into shock, because him sacrificing his own life to save someone that wouldn't even listen to him puts him in a panic. Even when someone as smart as Mr. Aizawa going away also puts him in peril. And one thing I did kind of forget is other students such as Earphone Jack, Red Right, and Denki. When Earphone Jack was by herself, Ejiro and Denki they were together. They were on their separate ways. Earphone Jack gives away her badge to a kid, but then the kid disappears. She also gets put in shock. While for some levity, Red Right and Denki they end up losing theirs to a couple of villains. Denki straight up loses his to another villain, while Red Right, while being likable, idiotically ends up accidentally destroying his own device, but and doesn't have enough time to get another one, but is relieved to know he's been gone. But then everyone disappearing is where then the episode ends. Actually no, before it ends, Deku goes to his mom. Then he sees his mom disappear. Then it ends. But then to the next, which shows the aftermath of everyone. Well, not everyone except just a few students having to survive. Deku goes to All Might to the school, but then he's gone as well. And the only students of Class A to have survived is Tenya, Ochako, Denki, Ejiro, Koji, Earphone Jack, Hanta / Tape Man, Shoto, and Midoriya. So there's just 10 left. Yeah, they all survived. Then it first starts off with what is it? It starts off with Ochako, Denki, Ejiro, Koji, and Kyoto stuck inside her room, crying herself to sleep. And Hanta all in the dorms by themselves, not knowing what to do because they're that episode starts a few days after the incident, but they don't know what to do. As Deku is still out there trying to look for survivors, Tenya and Shoto are isolated in their homes, and Earphone Jack is in her room while everyone else is just by the couches. But then Deku comes back. He comes back depressed because he couldn't find any survivors, and also because Tenya isn't with them, thinking that he might have gone away too. But they just remind him that no, he's good, but he's just decided to stay in his house, depressed. So at first, it makes it seem like they have nothing else that they can do. But then, surprise, it then cuts to Mina waking up from the trash bin, not knowing why there's very little people in the city, despite it being crowded just the last time she was awake. So yeah, she's unaware of what to do. Then we have a few minutes of just her by herself, and then realizes to go back to where she was in the city where she was with the rest, and decides to find Tenya because just assuming that he's the genius, that he can fix something. Then it cuts to Tenya. He just spends days opening the devices, seeing what he can do because he's trying to find some sort of solution on what to do, acting like he should be solely responsible for bringing everyone back, but he just can't figure it out. So he's been trapped in his house for days, no eating, sleeping. So yeah, he's just there by himself. But then he figures out that there's devices around the world that can help bring everyone back. So he decides to run out, but then literally bumps into Mina, where they start fast talking on what they think they can do, but then Tenya already has it figured out. So those two run back to the dorms to tell everyone the plan that he has and figured out. They'll get caught in, but then they're going to require all their help to travel to different areas. But the only person missing is Todoroki. So both Deku and Tenya go visit his house, which surprisingly is surrounded by flames and ice because he wants to be left alone. They pass in. He's in a state of anger because of how he messed up, especially with Bakugo, and how the rest of the students went away because they were doing what they were told. But then they convince him to take him to the dorms to figure it out. And for the next couple episodes, by the end of the 4th episode, is when they're starting to get the team together. while the fifth, is mostly them figuring out how they go around with a plan. Where there is devices that they need in different locations, like one in the United States, one in Egypt, one in Brazil, and one there in Japan, but yet another area. A device that can grant wishes. This is the part which I keep forgetting / not fully understanding, because there's a battery, like a battery gem sort of thing. Another thing which keeps it controlled with another device that they insert another that keeps it in control so it doesn't break apart, and then one that can grant wishes that will help them bring everyone back. So they decide to split and use these teleportation devices with watches, where they split into teams to get these different things, so they can bring everyone back. And the team they decide to split in is Team Japan, which comprised of Deku, Ochako, Hanta, and Koji, to go to this other Japanese city to find their device, which is kept away by a crime group. Earphone Jack and Shoto go to Brazil to find another device. Denki and Ejiro go together to the United States in this southern town. And then lastly, Mina and Tenya, they go to Egypt. They go to Egypt to find their final thing. So the episode just ends with them deciding where they're supposed to go and splitting up. Now, time for part 2, do, los, etc. I was saying last time, the teams, you saw the last one, you know who's in which team, where they went. And for the next 4 episodes, you can leave it for your imagination. That each group, it'll be switching between group to group. With first starting with Deku's team in Japan, where the 4 of them teleport an alleyway to steal a device which will hold their battery and special wish stone, was being hidden by a crime organization, which in Deku and Hanta will arrive in from the ceiling of another building while Chaco sneaks in from the elevator. And meanwhile, Koji is going to find a special shopkeeper who has hidden away the instructions on how to use the device. So he's going to be on his self-realization quest to learn to be a better person, or a more braver with this elder shopkeeper. But while they sneak in, they get confronted by the crime group, where they all fight. They all fight. Wow. They combat. They end up getting the device, but Midoriya ends up breaking his teleportation device, which he needs to get back, because everyone was given their own watches with 2 batteries each, one for teleporting to there and another to go back. But since it's destroyed, they're worried for a moment. But Hanta decides to sacrifice his by giving his watch to Deku, since he realized he's more important than he himself to the group. So he just says for him that when they're ready to go back, and for him to find out his own way to travel. Meanwhile, Kyoka and Tenya go to Egypt to find this special battery which will power the wish stone, because they know they needed to bring back a lot of people, but since it's so much, they needed a special battery to hide this power. but then someone else from a different team will get this other thing. I guess it's the most convoluted section, so you can make that as you will, and I know there's not the strongest point and the most slightest. They go in to get their things, but then later on in the story, they get confronted by a minions of the villain who realizes what their mission is. So they're by somewhere by the end, they begin to get attacked by their own minions, but they manage to escape in time with what they need. Todoroki and Kyoka. It's Kyoka and Todoroki were together, while Tenya was with Mina. My bad. Kyoko and Todoroki go to Brazil to find their special wish stone, and they meet a bunch of quirkless villagers who are at peace for losing their loved ones, which helps them understand, especially after their bonding session they had together on like their shared trauma on losing someone they intended to sacrifice their life for. But while they find the stone, they realize in a cave there's certain like hieroglyphics on how to activate it, because it can't just be used just by asking it to. So Todoroki keeps it in his mind so he knows how to enchant it when they go back. And lastly, Injiro and Denki go to where I decided, Arizona, to find their peace, but then get stolen by hillbillies in a truck. So they embark on a chase scene where they try to get their thing back in order to save everyone they love. They get theirs, and then they all, except for Hanta, make it back to the dorms. The rest think he's died, but Deku just explains that he had just sacrificed his watch, but he will make it back later on. So now that they all have their own things, Tenya makes the calculations before they put them together, but they realize they use a ton of energy. So they decide who will be the one to activate it, since it's like too strong. But the one who decides to take one for the team is Eijiro / Red Ride, because of how tough he can make his skin. So he has all the things that they collected with him. He turns his skin super hard as he can to not die from it. So then Koji opens the thing up, while Shoto makes the enchantment to activate it. They put it together, but then the force ends up too strong for all of them physically, because even the people who are just around the energy source are facing some physical damage. So both Deku and Shoto grab Red Right to prevent him from breaking apart. They use their powers. Deku uses One for All to make him stronger. Shoto transfuses his freezing powers to keep to prevent Red Ride from breaking apart. They pull it off. And at first they're celebrated, despite Red Ride feeling very physically exhausted from losing most of his strength. But then the villain and his army of minions come by to crash the dorm, literally. So they all decide to evacuate to the ceiling since they're taking over. And this is where like the climax will start to begin. A whole extended action scene of the four of them trying to fight off these guys while also trying to escape to the ceiling, hopefully to make it as safe as possible, because to find a different way to escape. But right before they're about to die, everyone with a quirk who they just saved comes back and ends with this grand battle. of all of them facing off against the minions. And in the meantime, Hantan makes it back only for after some temporary assistance. Deku nearly sacrifices himself for the cause, but then they end up defeating him at all in time. This you can all leave for your imagination, because this is the part I got the least amount of through, because it's way too complicated. But then they have some saving the day, and then for the and then the second half of the final and 13th episode is where things starts to slow down. Everyone starts celebrating, and everyone starts making peace with each other, and feeling relieved that they managed to do what they wanted to do at the start, which is protect themselves, well, save others by sacrificing themselves. And now that they're all okay, aside from Red Riot still being physically damaged from earlier, then it ends the arc on a happy ending, and then whatever else can come next can occur, and whatever the hell the other fans and writers want to come up with, go ahead. Because man, yeah, I actually like this story because of no one's out of character. The 10 people which I chose play a part in the story rather than all being just there. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with what I came up with. Hope to see what you guys think of it.